Hello and welcome back to Cody's Radio Workshop. On the bench we have a Roberts RT22, the radio transistor model number 22 by Roberts, and it's quite a tidy looking thing. I bought this for parts or not working from the most popular online auction site. Didn't pay an awful lot for it. Quite happy that it's got the original aerial, and it looked really good in the pictures. Couple of the button tops missing, couple of the brights missing. I can resolve that, but it's got both of its original volume and tuning knobs. The handle is a little bit bent over, but I should be able to solve that too. So there we go, it's got the nice sage green front on it, little ding on the grill. All looks good until you turn it round and you look at the back of it, and the back of it's been recovered in a black vinyl, and it's got the homemade baffle grill on there. Also the banding, the beading on the sides, missing, so that's gone. I should be able to solve this. I think I've got a spare one of those. But then, when we look inside at the battery snap, we've got half of a battery snap and a wire. So, my initial thoughts on this are, why didn't they be honest about it and say that it had been recovered on the back? You know, just for honesty's sake. It wouldn't have bothered me that much, to be honest, because I can solve this, I can recover this. I would rather it had have all been the green colour, because I really rate this colour in a Roberts transistor radio. But it is what it is, so we will see what we can do with it. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is just temporarily wire this up and just power it up and see if we've got any life at all in there. So I'm going to grab a crocodile clip and grab another crocodile clip and add those to the battery snaps. Let me zoom you out so you can see what I'm doing, and I'll connect up the power supply so I can see what it's drawing as well, and add the power to the leads. Make sure it's switched off. Turn on the output to the power supply, and then we'll power it up.
And if you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying it. What?
Your old man's appeared in court in...
Not expecting anything on long flavour. Yeah, nothing in here. Probably something if I took it up to the house and plugged it in up there, but...
If you're out and about, don't point it. Apparently.
Scratchy volume. Scratchy tuning too. Let's bob the aerial up. Turn that one off. We'll sort out that volume pot first, I think, just so we can see what we're playing with. Oh, there's another top just popped off. There we go. Bob that on one side because that can go back on. Let's have a look at getting some switch cleaner just on the top there. Just work that round several times, and then we'll bob it back on and see. That's better. So we're up to 103 on the scale, but it possibly goes up to 104. Classics bob on 101. And heart. Radio 1.
7 minutes to 12, it's BBC Radio Lancashire.
There we go, BBC Lancashire.
But it's nearly a year of negotiations.
Radio 4.
Asks for
Radio 3. Radio 2. So yeah, first impressions. Operationally, it appears good, and I'm quite pleased about that. So it is cosmetically challenged, and it needs this battery snap doing. I'm looking a bit hazy here. Let's get that light back on. There we go. Still looking a bit hazy. Maybe it's the camera lens that's just fogged up. Anyway, I will be popping a different battery snap on, so I'll get the desolderer fired up and the solderer fired up too. I'm going to pause there and I'll come back when everything's heated up. And we're back, welcome back. What have we done? Got the radio out of the case. Got the, there's the case. I've stripped off the back of it already. The baffle plate that they had put on there, the homemade one. Good effort, but I'm going to pop on an original once I've recovered that. I'm going to recover that a little later. The front will have to come off too, the front finish. But we've got the radio out of the case, it's on there, so I need to tend to this battery snap. Obviously half of it missing, can't be saved. So I've got one from my spares, which I'm going to transplant onto this set here. So that's what you've caught me doing at the moment. I've got the soldering stuff fired up. So what I always do is mark the board where I need to put the fittings on, just with a marker pen, just so I don't inadvertently resolder the new one to somewhere that it shouldn't really be. There's the black one off, and the red one off, and that's the old battery snap gone in the bin. So now I trim off the wire. Using the automatic wire strippers, brilliant things. And we'll get some flux on there, tin it up. Get some solder. And we will tin up the wire. And then probably just shorten it a little bit. There we go. Get the snips. Just shorten the ends off a little. So there's no excess when I'm soldering it up to the board. Get some flux onto the board just to help flow the solder. Get some more solder onto the tip of the iron. There's one, some more solder onto the tip of the iron. test that we've got it bob on. So, attach up the leads from the power supply again. Every step of the way, just checking that we've got everything just right. Have I dropped a lead somewhere? No. I'll get the speaker connected. Wrong way around, of course.
Your job it is to work.
Yep, we're good. Power supply back off. Disconnect it all. That essentially would be ready to go back into the case now because I've got the new battery wire on there. However, I am going to strip it, polish it, clean it, and get it all back up. So that goes to the back of the bench for the moment. And in, if I move the soldering gear out of the way and the speaker, have a swig of my tea that Mrs. Cody's has just made for me. Thank you very much. And we will look to get off the grill using a spudger. Just get it under the edge of the trim, start to lift the trim, and then it just pulls away. Very sticky under there, it's got some goo and horrible stuff from the time it was born. It's just built up. And then again with the spudger, you can, might be a bit tricky this one. Might be better off leaving this in place. Maybe the person that's recovered it previously has properly glued it down. I mean, it's not so bad. I could leave that on there. I've taken off the trim so that I can get to the material and just pull it away, because what I'm going to cover this with is black leather cloth. I don't have any lovely sage green. I wish I did, because it is one of my favourite colours. But let's get the pliers on there, or the pipe wrench on the material, and just pull it away. There we go. Once it starts to move, it's usually okay. It's just getting it to move in the first place. Once it starts to move, you can just let the momentum take it. There we go. There's the top bit off. I usually like to look at what they've been using to cover it, you know, lest I ever come across any more. But we've got the same to do on the bottom edge. And the bottom edge is usually tricky because you can't really get into it. I sometimes end up cutting it halfway. But spudgers are great, fantastic things for getting into the nooks and crannies. A little bit gentler with this bottom edge. I know it might not seem it, because I am putting a lot of effort in here. But it is just on a thin strip of, the thinnest strip of ply, so if you're a bit too brutal with it, it will fetch the ply off with it as well, and then you need to replace that, and That's a whole different world of pain. So there we go, that's the case off. Now I will pause here because what I need to do is mix up some magic glue, and it's basically just PVA with a hint of contact adhesive in it. The contact adhesive really helps to bind around the edges, and it is, I used to do a 50-50 mix, but it's more like a 70-30 mix now. And then I just brush it on. I brush it onto the material, the donor material. So I think next time you see this, it'll be recovered. So yeah, I am going to pause there, and I will be back as quick as a flash to you. Probably an hour or so to me. Catch you in a bit. Hello, and we're back, and I've done the do. I've recovered it. I've checked the alignment, and it was pretty much bob on anyway. Not drawing virtually any current at all. But here we go. We've got the black leather cloth, and it's sporting a new grille at the back, well, new to this set. So this is the Roberts RT22, practically done. It's just that tiny dink in that grille, and I didn't want to force this grille off because I would end up bending it. I think whoever's had this before has probably used Evo stick or something like that on it, and it would be a bit of a git to get off. But it's nice. It looks nice now. I've attended to the teak cheeks. It's only had one coat on so far, that's why I'm being delicate and trying not to touch the ends. But have a listen.
Understanding the biology of cancer much better, and in fact the Nobel Prize was awarded very recently.
This afternoon, rain will move in from the southwest. It'll be...
Who died after trying to save her young daughter when...
Not much on long flavour in here. There we go. All sorted. So, if I get a little bit more light on the front, you should be able to see a little bit better. It's beautiful again. And if you remember what it was like when I first got it, it had this stuck on the back of it where somebody's recovered it, and that does look like Evo stick on there as well, but I've managed to get that off in one piece. They did a decent job, but it was green at the front and black at the back. You know, if you remember, it had the sage green colour on the front of the set and that black on the back. Well, it's all changed now, so I think it looks more respectable now, and it's working just lovely. So there we go, there's the Roberts RT22 done. Double thumbs up for that. It's only taken me about an hour and a half all told, but it's practically, I don't like saying practically brand new or as new or anything like that, but it's as good as they come. There we go, double thumbs up. Thank you very much, catch you in the next one.